this is something. Joe Biden not doing anything about student loan debt. Shocker. I know.
I could fall off the floor.
Right? I mean, he's not doing anything about it. We're all shocked. Who saw it coming? And the best part is all the excuses that people are making for him already. Let's go to this one in particular. This is from Forbes. So here, we'll scroll up. Let me scroll up. Don't expect any student loan cancellation. Fair. All right. So student loans. In the ongoing debate over wide-scale student loan cancellation, it's unlikely Biden will unilaterally cancel student loan debt through an executive order without further authorization from Congress. Impossible? No. Unlikely? Yes. Then he talks about how Biden asked the U.S. Department of Education to review his legal authority. All right. So here's the reasons that they're saying Biden won't cancel student loan debt. Number one, student loan debt cancellation originated with progressives, not with Biden. So it originated with Bernie Sanders, which, by the way, this paragraph can be summarized, and this reason can be summarized as Joe Biden doesn't want to cancel student loan debt. Reason number two, Biden never said he would enact student loan debt cancellation. This is a fun one. There have been recent declarations about Biden breaking his campaign promise to cancel student loan debt. However, Biden never said he would cancel student loan debt. Rather, Biden said he supports $10,000 of student loan forgiveness for borrowers in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. So Biden never said he would cancel student loan debt, except when he said he would.
Right.
Well, he never said what he said. Actually, we're going to use a different word here. We're going to swap out words. This is running cover for Joe Biden. That's what this article is. And by the way, this point number two can be summarized as Joe Biden doesn't want to cancel student loan debt. Number three, Congress is blaming Biden for not canceling student loans, but Congress hasn't canceled student loans. So they're playing the blame game. In other words, he doesn't want to cancel student loan debt. And neither does the Congress or the Senate. And by the way, the House and Senate both controlled by Democrats. Will your student loans get canceled? Biden dropped student loan debt cancellation from his new budget. And so here's the other thing. It is unlikely the Education Department will say that for many reasons, that being that he'll have the legal support to act through an executive order to cancel student loan debt, including in January. For many reasons, including in January, the Education Department during the Trump administration concluded the president cannot cancel student loans unilaterally without Congress. So basically, it's pretty much a guarantee he could cancel student loan debt. He may need Congress, but again, the Democrats got it. So really, this could have just been one headline that said, Joe Biden's not going to cancel student loan debt because he doesn't want to. Sorry, suckers. That could have been it. And instead, there's all this flowery language saying like, well, technically, he didn't say, he said forgiveness, and it wasn't his idea, and it wasn't, he might need Congress or he might not, but here's what the Education Department concluded in the past. He could do it. He could do it.
Absolutely.
It's remarkable, and he's not doing it. No $15 an hour minimum wage, a blatantly insufficient infrastructure package that was even less than he promised on the campaign trail, no student loan debt forgiveness. And we're supposed to entertain this fantasy that it's not on him.
Absolutely. And that's why I think they're totally cool with, if not excited about, the Dems losing in 2022. They're finding that there is literally no way to blame anyone else. Like they have the majority. They should be doing it. They can't deflect right now and be like, well, Republicans, nope, can't do that. They want the Republicans to be the majority so they can, it's good for donations. It's good for excuses. I worked for the state Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in student loan debt for a few years. And I used to take calls, and I can't tell you how many kids and parents called just absolutely sobbing. Like, I don't know what to do. And the thing that infuriates me is, yes, I support everything should be forgiven, end of story, and college should be free. However, what really infuriates me is, at the very least, they don't take off the interest. I dealt with kids who took out $10,000 and now it's at $30,000 because every single month that 8% capitalizes, and then the interest goes on top of that, and so on and so on and so on. So at the very least, stop the interest and take the interest off. You know, I had people in med school who had $500,000 in student loan debt because they took out 200,000 and now it's at 500,000. And it's like, nobody even talks about the damn interest. Even that would be helpful, even though we should get rid of it all. Now, people like Miss Warren, who campaigned on 50 up to $50,000 per household, and it was means tested by income of your parents, is now coming out, oh, we need student loan forgiveness. Just last year, that wasn't your policy. You're coming out and saying it because you know it's not going to happen. Chuck freaking Schumer. Oh, student loan debt. Fucker, listen, you don't want that. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, they say things when it's convenient, and they think that we're none the wiser. And that's why I am so exhausted by what I like to refer to as the Ministry of Appeasement, which is all of their platitude bullshit on Twitter. And it's all of them, by the way. It is all of them. Every single one, no one excluded. I don't follow any politicians on Twitter. And I know that's like, who gives a shit, Ron? And I get that. But if every single politician had 0 followers, that'd be a message. That would be a message that, like, we're seeing through your bullshit. We're tired of it. We're tired of your platitudes. Your tweets are not helping anybody. What would this thing I'm not actually going to fight for do for you and your family? You know what it would do for me and my family. Tell me how you're fighting for it, and then actually freaking do it. But you're not actually fighting for it. You're just tweeting. One of the first lessons my mom taught me was actions speak louder than words. That's really true in life, and that's extra true if you're a politician. Because if you're a politician, you're guilty until proven guilty. And I'm fucking done. Like, I am done. And this is just more of the bullshit. They back clean up for someone like Joe Biden. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this slap in the face. Don't expect any student loan cancellation, and his just stupid, brain dead face staring back at you with that purchased smile that has just spewed absolute garbage for 50 years. He is a walking garbage disposal. That is what he is. He is human garbage. And I'm so over all of it. I am so over all of it.
I am so glad I didn't vote for him pretty much every single day. Not to shame anyone who did, but my conscience is so incredibly clean.
Mine's not. I mean, and I didn't vote for Biden either. I mean, I didn't vote for him, but he's president. I mean, he's president. And I don't blame people who did, because the system put us in a situation where one of these two plutocratic monsters was going to be president, Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And I didn't vote for either one of them. I voted third party. And I did so knowing there was no chance of that happening. You know, I mean, I knew that, and I can't even smile about that system anymore. It's not, and I tweeted something about this recently, and I got a lot of hate for it. And, you know, I had some back and forth with people. And it's like, look, I guess for some people it's good enough to just feel a little okay after you get out of a voting booth. For me, it's not. For me, I want to win. And I mean, hey, and maybe it's like the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in me, but like one of the first lessons you're taught if you grow up in that town, you don't polish a turd that is a loss. You don't put a bow on a loss. You call a loss a loss. And politically, I've lost forever for as long as I've been alive. Because the last time the left had a real big victory in this country, I wasn't alive. It was arguably the New Deal. One could argue it was potentially when we ended the Vietnam War. I wasn't alive for either one of those things. So I've never experienced a victory. I don't know what that feels like. Neither do you. So I'm tired of losing.
The Eugene Debs, theory, though. I'd rather vote for what I want and not get it than vote for what I don't want and get it.
Oh, me too.
It's a personal decision.
Oh, totally.
I couldn't care less if anyone voted for Biden. I don't vote shame. And I don't appreciate when leftists are like, you're garbage if you voted for him. It's a personal decision and it's none of my business, quite frankly. But personally, I knew I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I voted for Hillary or Biden. I just, I don't know. I would lose so much respect for myself. And that's just me.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I'm the same as you, where it's like, look, I don't vote shame because I blame the system, not the people who are dealing with it. Now, if somebody comes at me because I didn't vote for Biden, I'll hold my own. I'll, have a discussion with that person and I'll stand up for myself. But, the problem is not the people who are dealing with this utterly disgusting system. The problem is the system. So yeah, I totally get that. It's just, for me, it's like, look, I can't, when people are just like, I just feel so great because I went in that voting booth and I voted against the duopoly. And it's like, yeah, but don't you want to actually beat the duopoly? Isn't that like, shouldn't we be pushing for more than just, thank you so much for giving me this ballot line so I don't have to vote for these, ugly, disgusting candidates? Don't you want to also win? We're trying to win, right? We're trying to win. Okay, so maybe people who are politically aligned with you, who maybe just made the strategic decision to go for Biden to prevent Trump, maybe alienating all of those people isn't a good idea. Maybe that's not how we win. Like, maybe that's a bad, hey, I voted third party and I feel good about it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure nobody else does. I don't want our tent to get bigger. I don't want, it's like when you're 12 years old and you don't want everybody to know about the band you like because you want to feel cool. That's okay when you're fucking 12. That's okay when you're 12 years old and you're, you haven't matured yet. But when you grow up, you realize, hey, actually, if I want to see this band succeed, I should get my friends to listen to them. I should I want more people to make the decision I made. I want more people to say I'm voting against the duopoly. I want more of that, not less of that. I want more. So if somebody has all the same political leanings as me, they held their nose and they voted for Joe Biden because, they knew the other option was Trump and they made a strategic decision different than mine. I don't want to sit there and call them a piece of shit. I want to try to get them to align with me. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Absolutely. And in that respect, I really do wish more leftists were pushing ranked choice voting, because as much as millions of us want a third party or People's Party or whatever you support, it is literally not going to happen without ranked choice voting. It's not. We have history to prove that. So that is the first step. But unfortunately,
let me get
I just
Biden's
don't see people. What's that?
I was just saying, I was just like, hold on, let me get Biden's ridiculous face off the screen. It doesn't need to be there anymore. I made the point. And it was still just sitting there. People were probably
I
like,
can't
geez,
see it, so
Ron,
I have that advantage.
we don't need Biden's ridiculous face anymore. Jesus.
He looks like a ventriloquist, honestly. And I'm not like, I'm not one to like say things about aesthetics, but when I look at him, I see like a ventriloquist smile.
When I look at him, I see a complete blank suit who is void of feeling any empathy for human beings. And that's accurate. So
As he
I'll
stated.
say that about the guy. As he said, yeah, I have no empathy. That's like one of his most famous quotes, really. So I just, yeah, the 2020 election was the complete embodiment of everything wrong with United States politics in two people. And I mean, you have Trump, who's just basically, I'm a plutocrat. The rules don't apply to me. I can do whatever I want. And then you have Biden. I'm a blank suit who plays the game, enriches myself, and everyone else be damned. That's American politics in a nutshell. That's it. It's not a system that can be saved, nor is it worth saving.
Right. Absolutely. Do you think that we'll see a third party president in our lifetime?
I don't know. I mean, I hope so. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I think that we have a chance to kind of break up the duopoly some. And I think we have to try. I mean, the alternative is not trying. So we certainly have to try. With things like ranked choice voting, it is not an impossibility. Is it a tall glass of water? Absolutely. But it's not impossible. Will we ever see a president? I mean, because a president would mean like the status quo has been completely shattered. So I certainly hope so. I don't think it's impossible. I wouldn't place money on it, but I certainly hope so. I mean, if we break up the duopoly, the game will change, and you'll either see the Democrats cease to exist, which would be fine, or you'll see the Democrats actually become a centrist party, which would be fine. And when I say become a centrist party, I mean in the space of the world standard, because right now they are a right-wing party. So you would either see the Democrats, like you would either see like a real faction on the left electorally. So the Democrats would have to go more towards the center just to have any kind of political identity, which would be fine if we have like a, 3 or 4 or 5 party system and you have an actual centrist party that is in fact a centrist party. Cool. That's fine. I probably won't vote for them, but that's cool that they're there. That's fine. And then you have a right-wing party for whoever wants to vote that way. And then that's how a society works. Or they'll just cease to exist. And there will actually be like a new grassroots party that just overtakes them. So
I think the thing that makes me trepidatious about that is so many people who feel that way are convinced that we can so-called change the Democratic Party. It's not even Democratic, it's Democrat Party. And from the inside, and that ain't working. So that's what makes me, trepidatious. If literally every single progressive and leftist left the Dem Party and, of course, re-enter when you vote if you need to or want to or whatever. But if everyone Dem exited and said, look, we will not support you, vote for you, whatever, and use that to our advantage and kind of held that hostage, I feel like that's the only thing that would even have a chance of changing.
Sure. Well, you know what? Everybody I know who is more like Dementer, and again, I don't think that they're necessarily right or wrong. I mean, we're both just making a strategic judgment call. Like, I mean, who knows, like, who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong. You just make a strategic judgment call and you work towards it. And, I certainly don't begrudge people who have different strategic ideas than me. But, even like the more we got to take over the Democratic Party, folks, they pretty much all say we need an inside-outside approach. So my response to them is always like, okay, well, I'm part of that outside approach. Like I'm like, do your thing, and if you end up being right, great. I mean, if we have like if we have progressive representation in our politics, I don't care how we get there, and I don't care if I end up being wrong. I'll just be. If we have Medicare for all, I don't care if I was the most wrong person out there, and you can, if you want to shit on me on Twitter because of it, go ahead, and I'll be like, yep, I guess I was wrong, but we have Medicare for all, and we ended the wars. My joy of that certainly is more important than my ego, which, who gives a shit? So, but either way, it's like, okay, if you end up being right, I was part of that outside approach. You say it's an inside-outside thing. I want to be on the outside. I don't want to be inside. I'm not good on the inside. I'm not meant to be on the inside. I'm meant to be on the outside. So that's where I want to be. And that's why I do advocate for things like third-party politics. Even if you don't think a third party will be viable, it still needs to be there. There are many criticisms of the Green Party that are valid. I have my criticism of the Green Party. They've done a lot of things that I've not approved of. They've done a lot of things I have approved of. And they don't get the credit they deserve for what they've done for a Green New Deal. They really started pushing that. It's their policy. They really brought it to the table. And then, of course, it was amplified by Bernie Sanders, AOC. But the Green Party really started that. And the Green Party really started the push for ranked choice voting. And they've done a lot for it. Those are two things. I'm not saying they deserve the credit single-handedly. They don't. But they've done a lot for it that often goes under-recognized. So third parties, whether you think they will one day be viable enough to overtake the duopoly or not, are still infinitely important and essential if you want status quo shifting change. So, to the Dem Enter people, I just say, okay, I'm part of the outside approach. I'm one of those outside people. So if y'all get in and this does happen, I don't think it will. But if it does, I'll be the first to say I was wrong, and I'm still your outside guy. If it ends up totally not working and a third party becomes viable, come on and join the third party. Either way, we're on the same team here. That's what I think. But yeah. I know that doesn't score you Twitter points, though. I know that's not cool.
Yeah.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make